more money. If they'd gotten this done a year and a half, 2 years ago, they wouldn't have had near this
Carl
money.
Crawford, those contracts are major, huge.
Let's Jason Worth in 2009, 36 homers, 99 RBIs. That's his career best.
Yeah. Let's take a call. Good morning. You're on Sports 101. Go ahead. It's you. Go ahead. Listen to us, not the radio, please.
I would have to say, if Albert wants to coach third base, you let him coach third base.
Yep.
If Albert wants to paint a mural on the outfield wall, you let him paint a mural. If he wants to make a trade, you let him make a trade. If he wants $40 million for 15 years, you give the man what he is St. Louis. He is the Cardinals. He's everything that St. Louis baseball is.
Okay, thanks for the phone call. 529-1450 is the phone number. And okay, let's say you do that. Let's say you give Albert the keys to St. Louis and he runs the show. Can you have a winning baseball team then if you just have one guy locked up like that? Mark, we can't hear your head.
Absolutely. I'm sorry. I'm livid when I hear something like that. I like Pujols. I've been a St. Louis fan since any of you were born. But you don't prostitute yourself to give him $35-40 million. You won't be able to field a competitive team if you give someone outrageous money like that. You've got Wainwright, who's going to want money here down the road. You've still got Carpenter to worry about. You've got to field more than just 3 or 4 guys who are going to eat up most of the time. And if you look, there's about 4 or 5 guys now that make up, I think, 55% of what the Cardinals' payroll is. You can't give Albert $40 million and field a team that's going to go anywhere.
Would you trade Carpenter right now?
Yes.
If it helped?
I would trade Carpenter because I thought Carpenter last year, towards the end of the year, he was 3 or 4 miles off his fastball net. I just didn't think he looked as good.
Carpenter was weird to me last year.
He's very different.
His numbers were good, but he didn't look the same.
Yeah, something wasn't quite there.
And he's 35, and Eric and I, we brought Lincecum off the air earlier, and there's a big difference between the way Lincecum throws and the way Carpenter throws.
Yep.
Lincecum weighs
like 11 pounds.
About
dripping wet. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what they say. I don't even think he weighs that much.
No way.
But when he brings it, the energy is not exuded as much as it is from Carpenter, who's 6'5".
Yeah.
204. I mean, he's bringing it, and he's gassed by the end of the day. Lincecum, I think, throw another game if you want to.
It looks like it, doesn't it? Yeah.
So I think there's a huge difference there. Carpenter is making a lot of money, and you have these other younger guys like the Shelby Miller down in A-ball who's coming up, and Jaime Garcia last year proved that he can pitch.
Eventually,
I wouldn't hesitate trading Carpenter right now if it helped free up money to get Albert.
Okay. I was going to say,
Go ahead.
am I the only one that may think that there's a conspiracy here? Maybe Albert is saying 10 years, 30 mil, because he knows the Cardinals won't make that deal, so he can test the free agent market.
you never know, because Nick, this is supposed.
That's like an easy out for him. He's like, I'm the best player in the game, but I know they're not going to pay this.
Well, first of all, this is all conjecture because this is supposed to be on hush-hush. Do we know for a fact that he's asking $300 million?
No, we don't.
We don't. We're assuming this because of supposed leaks. We don't know.
Because Jason Stark leaked it, and
Yeah.
Ken Rosendahl leaked it, and I want to talk to the guy in Decatur that had dinner with him. He knows more than everybody.
Probably so. Yeah, I saw that story. One thing with Albert, and we've got to take this into account. Oh, let's take the call first. I'm sorry.
Yeah, let's go to the phones. 529-1450 is that number. Good morning. You're on Sports 101. Go ahead.
Me?
Yes.
All right, hey. The only comment I have about this whole payroll thing is I think a lot of it goes back to the Cardinals ownership needs to, loosen up the belts and increase payroll to about 125, 130. They're still going to be making money hand over fist.
I agree with you.
You can only play the whole mid-market team so long when you're among the top
You sell out every game.
year after year after year.
Yep.
Get it to 130, then paying Albert $30 million a year isn't as big of an issue. So great show, guys.
Hey, he brings up a great point. The DeWitt always wants to keep it around 108, 109 million. If he would, creak open the wallet and get the cobwebs out of there, and like the caller said, 125, 130, we'd have no problem with this. But is he going to do that? I don't think so.
I've been saying that for years, though.
Yeah, I know.
That's my problem with this whole thing is everybody looks at this like there's a cap.
like, well, if the Cardinals give him this much, then they only have so much to spend on everybody else. There's no cap in baseball.
There is with the width, though. That's the problem.
Yeah, but there are no rules. So
Right.
I mean, he's saying, well, I don't want to spend more than this, so I can't pay Albert this much. Well, spend more. Spend more. I mean, it's baseball. There are no rules.
I'm so sick of them using, oh, St. Louis, small market team. It's like, no, you're not. You're not a small market team. You're a mid-market team, and you're watching everybody else sign all these guys.
Well, that's what they should have signed Edgar a long time ago. They wouldn't have all these problems with shortstop like they have the last 9 years or whatever since he left. And they should have re-signed Roland, but there's an issue with LaRussa and Roland. Then they should have re-signed Jimmy. There's an issue with Jimmy and LaRussa. You know, I wish LaRussa would go. That would help me out.
I think this is why I think this is why the Cardinals are playing hardball here, is because they are such a successful franchise. I mean, honestly, Cardinals fans would be upset if Pujols left, but they're not going to quit going to games. They're not going to quit, rocking the jerseys. Cardinals are going to be fine, Pujols or no Pujols.
It's the line from Jerry Seinfeld.
Yep. We root for laundry.
Yep. We don't root for people. We root for laundry. Because if you root for people, Albert is one of the best people you ever meet.
Yeah.
Let's take another call. 529-1450 is the number. Good morning. You're on Sports 101. Go ahead.
Yeah, I gotta agree. Some Cardinal fans might be upset. I would definitely get rid of Carpenter. I'm a huge Cardinal fan. I would definitely get rid of Carpenter. I do agree he was off a little bit this year, and I probably couldn't tell you what it is either, but he's also, 1 or 2 years away from a contract, and he's going to be looking for that, last contract where he's going to want $1 bajillion like.
Absolutely right.
Well, I hope he wins the Cy Young then.
Yeah, I would definitely get rid of him if it's helpful, or at least let him run out of contract. If you don't want to, I still you don't want to give a Carpenter, even if it is for 1 year, for, a Joe Schmo third baseman that we already have 9 of.
Right.
But, definitely, I don't know, I'm kind of upset that Pujols would say, I want this amount of money instead of trying to meet in the middle somewhere.
Well, we don't know that he has.
That's the thing. Nobody knows.
Yeah, but, he hasn't came out and said it otherwise. But he's come out and gave a deadline, so why wouldn't he come out and say, hey, that's not me. I didn't say $300 million.
Right. Well, his agent put out the deadline. Then Mozeliak was the one that said his agent put out the deadline. Then Albert got upset at Mozeliak saying, hey, if you want to be professional about it, you shouldn't have said that.
Everyone's trying to look like the guy that's on the up and up here, and eventually we'll find out who said what. But I agree with you, Carl. I think that Carpenter, after he's done, unless he comes through with some kind of incredible year, and we have to also understand with Carpenter, he's got arm problems for how long, and who knows when the next one's going to pop up.
Yep, that's another reason why I would start looking for him to get traded. But I don't know, I do believe that Albert Pujols said that. I do believe that the agents are kind of the scapegoats on purpose.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to go this route, but kind of like Cam Newton and his dad.
Exactly.
Where Cam's like, I didn't say that. Or me, that was just my dad.
Right.
Look,
No,
the last thing on the Pujols I want to bring up, and this, a lot to be minor. Okay, we have to understand, as he's hitting the time of his life, age-wise, where he's going to start declining. If you look the last 3 years, his strikeouts have increased, his on-base percentage has decreased, his slugging percentage has decreased, and his average has decreased over the last 3 years. There's a telltale sign.
So is everyone else's.
to 337 and 312, respectively.
So is everyone else, though, in Major League Baseball. Last year was the year of the pitcher, and Albert still did what he does.
Yeah. I just want to put this in here. I understand that he's 31, and we are seeing a little
no-hitters.
35.
Yeah. 35. But anyway, all in all, I can see either Adams' deal, a lifetime type deal, or do a 5 or 6 year deal and give him more money. But this 10-year thing just is not going to cut it.